Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value, and I was scrolling through oilprice.com. I was looking at the headlines, and I could see how people are incredibly confused about what is potentially coming for oil. I was reading some of these headlines, and now I understand why I don't really read the news as much. I mean, I read it every once in a while, but I really go by the charts because the charts take into consideration all of this news, and everyone is bidding things up. They're getting to psychological containment points, which is a chart pattern, and that's what I like to see. But I'm just going to read some of these article titles and show you how mixed up someone could get if all you did was try to read news and invest off of news. So I'm going to go right here and start reading. It says the recent oil price rally can't be justified. And then the one right below it says $200 oil. Traders are betting big on a global energy crunch. How does one make any sort of sense out of these two titles that are right next to each other? The recent oil price rally can't be justified, and traders are betting on $200 oil. You've got next, oil prices top $80 a barrel for the first time in 3 years. Goldman Sachs hikes oil price forecast to 90. Oil prices near 80 on tight global supply, and then out of nowhere, the case for $50 oil. The oil markets appear to have successfully scaled a major wall of worry, with oil prices rebounding to multi-year highs. Brent crude settles, blah, blah, blah. Oil prices set another weekly gain as supply tightens. Oil trading giant says $100 oil in late 2022. Goldman Sachs, $90 this winter. Going on down, two industries getting slammed by sky-high oil prices and natural gas prices. Chevron CEO, oil prices to remain higher for longer. Why Bank of America thinks oil prices are heading to $100. It is incredibly confusing reading news and these headlines on which way the oil market is going to go. When I look at the charts, I see oil going higher. I don't know how someone could make the case in the near term that it would go lower, but it is a possibility. And how they justify it is really saying that they're looking at oil. I don't like oil. ESG is the future. It's going to go down to $50. And you know what? Having an opinion doesn't move the price. It's a lot of these articles I'm going to say are kind of bogus. They're just fluff. And most of the people that write them, and I'm not talking about these articles at oilprice.com in particular, I'm just saying in general, make sure whoever's writing the article is actually worth reading. A lot of them, they just confuse people. And I was incredibly confused as an early investor because I would read all these reports. I would read a lot of news. I would read these reports of analysts analyzing stocks. And almost all of them are just pure garbage. I mean, pure garbage. You can get these analyst reports, you read through them, and it's like, this is nothing. So when I look at stocks and I look at these companies, what I take that big macro picture and everything else doesn't really matter. And the macro picture is really developed based off of charts. So you've got all these charts, you say, okay, this is roughly what the market thinks. And if you can accurately read that, you're going to get some sort of opinion that says we should be in commodities or stocks. And that's really it. If you're going to go long commodities, you're probably going to underweight stocks. And if this thing plays out, you're going to ride the big wave in commodities higher. I mean, that's just how it works, depending on the cycle. And you start reading all these analysts and reports and everything, and they don't talk about any of that. They just talk about a company and how much it makes and internal rate of return and whatever else. And all of that, a fundamental picture of your cash flows matters if you control the price of the product that you sell. If you're trading a commodity, it doesn't matter that much because you're subject to the price of that commodity. You have to get the commodity price right. Everything else, it's a smaller The fundamentals of a commodity company matter less than the commodity price itself by a long shot. So you can have companies that look really bad balance sheet wise, and you get the commodity price right and they rocket higher. We're talking like thousands of percents, tens of thousands of percents higher if you get that right, and it can do it in a very short time frame. The reason I'm such a commodity bull is because you can get massive returns in very short periods of time in these bull markets versus like most other companies. And most other companies like the Trade Desk or some other ones, they've done very well. They might have done a 10x in a period of time of maybe 10 years or less. These can do it in like a year. And it's like, man, a year, that's ridiculous. And it was difficult for me to shift from reading news and analyst reports and all that stuff into something that is basically just chart reading. Because a lot of people think that chart reading or technical analysis is no good. But technical analysis can save, it can save you, because it's literally the only data that is raw data that you can look at. And it's much easier to see it in a chart than it is to see the raw data in an Excel spreadsheet or however you want to see it. So if you look at news and you look at these things, it's all just doused with a bunch of opinions and viewpoints. And I don't like looking at anything that's like that necessarily. I mean, I'll read a couple. I find it good entertainment, but I really don't use it for any investment decisions at all. And I know a lot of people, even on the channel, they like hearing news. They like hearing this stuff. But if you want to really become a good investor, you basically have to do opposite of what a lot of news says. And I'm not saying with oil here. Everyone is now catching on to oil. But at the bottom, everyone hated oil like no other. They were like, this is the worst. Companies are down 90%. And I'm over here like loading up everything I can buy. And then starting a YouTube channel so I could share with everybody where they should be buying. That's what I did. So I could at least have an impact on some people. But now, obviously oil is going to start getting looked at from a different light or a different perspective. And people are going to start getting really bullish here. And we're going to see prices, I think, move far higher. So I think we're in the right spots. We just got to be patient. We got to let the tides float us downstream, and that's what we need to do. We just need to enjoy the ride now. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.